Here begins lesson 1.5, part 2. And now we're going to use both steps of taking information and putting it in point-slope form, and then going from that form to slope-intercept form. So again, we'll start with our equation of point-slope. And we're going to plug in what we know. And these are the two things we know. So we will say y minus our y value, which is a -4, equals our slope, which is -3/4, x minus our x value, which is +4. Now we have y minus a negative, which makes it plus. We will distribute the -3/4, and that will give us -3/4 x, and if we multiply those together, okay, so if -4 is the same as -4/1, so I take -3 times -4 and get a +12. Bottom number, or denominator times denominator, so 4 times 1 we get 4. And now we can clean this up a little bit. We get y plus 4 equals -3/4 x plus 3. And we will finish, we'd finish by subtracting 4 from both sides. And we'd end up with the equation y equals -3/4 x minus 1. Now let's take a look at the situation when we're given 2 points. Because before we had a slope given to us and a point. Now we have 2 points. Now this adds a step to it, because before we had the slope and now we don't. So we need to find out the slope first. So we have to remember the slope formula. And the slope formula is the change in y's. So I'm going to go 1 minus a -5, and then change in x's is 4 minus a -2, which gives us 1 plus 5 over 4 plus 2 when you subtract a negative, and that gives us 6/6, which is a slope of 1. So now it turns into the last question. Let's use our formula, which is, change the color, y minus y1 equals slope, and then x minus x1. And let's plug in what we know. So y minus one of our coordinates. Now we need to pick one. Since we have 2 to choose from, it does not matter which one we choose, but we just need to pick one, and usually the one that we think will be easiest to do or to use. So let's use 4 and 1. So I'm going to subtract my y value of that point, which is 1. My slope is 1. And I have x minus my x value of the coordinate I chose. I distribute the 1, which is a nice thing to distribute because it does not affect anything. And we will finish by adding 1 to both sides. And we get our final answer in slope-intercept form of y equals x minus 3. And you can put the 1 in front of x if you want to, but it's not necessary. And this ends lesson 1.5, part 2.